All right, my friends. Hello, hello, hello. It's Katie Rubin here of katierubin.com. Your friendly neighborhood modern mystic, urban wizard, spiritual healer, divine light channel. No big deal. So, as I've mentioned before with these 3-card spreads, the way I work these is I open what's called the Akashic Records for the group of you that are listening. So I'm asking the divine, hey, divine, will you tap me into the consciousness of all the people that this 3-card spread is for? So if you're watching this now, and this is in a timely manner, around the time that this is being released, October 19th-ish, 2020-ish, 2020, then this is for you. So I'm sitting in your records now. It's sort of like a collective records that I'm sitting in. There's a real experience of a straight up and down alignment and then a folding around like this as I tap into your hearts and your souls. And then as I'm shuffling the cards, I'm saying, what is the spiritual direction? What information do these folks need right now that you can show me, divine light, divine source, through the cards? And here is our 3-card spread today. Oh no, I dropped one. Son of a horse. Guess what? I've got a dog on my lap, which makes bending over, oh my God, complicated. Have you guys seen my dog yet? Have I shown my dog in these videos? Are you ready to be murdered with cuteness? Here she is. All that shifting and she didn't move at all. All right, the recent past card is the Deep Freeze. Makes a lot of sense to me. The current moment is the map shifter. Is it map? The magical map shifter, but upside down. Uh-oh. And the outcome card is the Moonlight card, which is a very beautiful card. But can be sometimes frustrating for people in a reading. And I'll tell you why in just a moment. So I'll give you my interpretation of what this says to me while the dog burrows further deeper into my crotch. Yeah. And then we'll go ahead and read what the cards actually say. So, in your recent past, you've been in some kind of deep freeze where it's like, you know, oftentimes people talk about the winter as being a time where we slow down a bit, we go within. And a new friend of mine recently was talking about how it may be the case that you slow down and go within, but as a result, all kinds of big work is happening. So it's not actually a slowing down. It can seem like a slowing down because the outsides are slowing down, but there's deep work going on within. So it's actually a speeding up of the deeper levels of work. So you've been in some version of that in the recent past. Things are kind of like not moving forward at the speed you'd like. We do have a Mercury retrograde, so keep that in mind. Retrograde, I should do a whole video just about how to not freak out about Mercury retrogrades, but at the same time, how to hold a simultaneous awareness that they do have an effect. They do stuff. Mercury retrogrades do stuff. Some of the stuff they tend to do is slow down contracts, they'll mess with computers, telephones, machines, anything mechanical, contracts, signing of things, moving forwardness. It's because the universe really wants us to take our time and sit with these big moves we're making. A lot of us are making big moves right now. And be present to it and sort of ask the difficult questions. Is this really what I'm doing? It wants us to review the past. What did I learn from the past? How am I going forward? And it's not because there's some definite thing a Mercury retrograde wants you to get out of it. It's just for you to get what you know from your slowing downness. Okay, so deep freeze in the recent past. Then we've got the magical map shifter upside down. The magical map shifter tends to be, when it's in its upright position, the, presence of or the meeting of a sort of influential person or energy or organization that's going to like change shit around and completely reorganize your reality on some level in some area of your life. I don't actually know what it means upside down, so we're going to read that in the deck. Very curious to see, though, because anytime I get the magical map shifter card in my readings for myself, I'm always like, ooh, exciting. Someone's coming into my world to do magical map shifty things. Things are going to change, America! And I get excited about change. Call me crazy. Most people do. So, No, they don't. Now I'm going to plug in my computer. See, this reading is a very Mercury retrograde reading. My computer's not plugged in. The dog made it hard. The freaking cards fell on the ground. But, like, do you notice what I'm doing? I'm just rolling with it. Now it's plugged in. Is that the end of the world, really? That I had to plug in a thing on a video? Who cares? You're still getting your content. It's also kind of fun. Weird shit's going on. It's not just normal run-of-the-mill. Do you really want boring run-of-the-mill? Is that what you want? Do you want some wacky, crazy shit to go down? Ask yourself. And then the outcome card is the Moonlight card, which really, to me, is always like, the Moonlight card is talking about the way through your current circumstances is going to be through quiet, internal, meditative, spiritual practices. And it's funny because the Moonlight card also talks about using cards, using forms of divination and cards and oracles and such to help you in the time that you're in. So in other words, this is not a very masculine, external, do it, handle it, rock it kind of outcome for what this spread is about for you right now. It's more of a go within, consult the oracle, listen to your spiritual teachers, pull some cards, sit with it, process it, let it in a feminine way, right? The moon speaks to the feminine element. And this is the Moonlight card, and there's a lovely, look at that art. Isn't that gorgeous? She's got a little owl in the moon there. Owls are very wise and deep. Anyway, the moon speaks to the feminine. So this is a time, the outcome of what you're in the middle of is going to unfold in a divine feminine moon spiritual kind of way, not in a very Piscean way. Pisces is the quality of water and mutability and changeability and knowingness and the mystery of the great beyond. It's not a quality of like Aries, fire, get it done, hurry up, go. No. All right. So let's read how the deck frames it. This is, as I've mentioned many times before, my favorite deck, the Enchanted Map, Oracle cards. Love it so much. Colette Barron-Reed recently allowed my amazing team and I to use one of her images in the marketing of my Star Beings Healing Retreat, which you should attend, November 6th to the 8th. We're going to do 3 days, oh my God, of really intense divine light energy work here in Memphis, Colorado. Go to katierubin.com/star-beings to learn more. 3 days of healing work using the star beings, channeling straight from the energy of the star beings. Who are the star beings? They're the more evolved race of beings that don't have to have bodies anymore because they evolved their consciousness past the need for these three-dimensional forms we all take in this reality here on Earth. And some of them really care about the consciousness of the human race evolving. So they transmit high vibrational divine light to us for those of us who can receive it and transmit it to the people. So it's really just a sort of a different flavor of how to transmit divine light is through the star beings. And I'll give you an example, like the nations, the Pleiadians, the Sirians, the Mintakans, the Lyrans, all the different star nations, they each have a different energetic quality or flavor to the divine light that they deliver. So if I'm pulling the energy of the Mintakans through, for example, you're going to get like a fucking like razor's edge, sharp, strong wind light. And if I'm pulling the energy of the Arcturians through, you're going to get like a soft, heart-centered love light. The Syrians, to me, are more like straight up and down, all business, fire, kind of red, get your shit handled. The Pleiadians are like, they have a kind of purple, kind of like magical quality like that. So, yeah, they're all delivering divine light for us to heal and up level and become more of the vast oneness of the divine, but they do it in their different flavors. And different human individuals are going to receive divine light differently depending on which, like you might be someone who receives really well from the Pleiadians, but you're not really vibing with the Arcturians. So during this 3-day healing thing, every time we work with the Pleiadians, you're going to be like, ah, that's my people. And when we work with the Arcturians, you're going to be like, that's different, interesting, and you'll learn something. So cheers to learning. Look how my cup matches that thing. That's called a, what do you call that? Tea kettle. Matching things. Cheers. And that thing. 1, 2, 3. All right, let's read. So in the recent past, the deep freeze card says the following words: everything has its season. Now is the time to put activity on hold while you rest. What? The cold winter beckons you to slow down and put a freeze on things that are not yet ready to bloom. It's time for regeneration and hibernation. Forgo ambitious activity. A pregnant pause allows ideas to gestate, projects to shift and change, and relationships to go through a dreamy state of being, not going anywhere and not needing to. This is also a time to put all your arguments on ice. Nothing beneficial will come of any of them. Self-care is the most important activity now, so reflect, read a good book, or get a massage. Rest and dream. That's the recent past moments. Then you've got your magical map shifter. Upside freaking down. Let's find out what the hell that's all about. Okay. So, like you'll see on the main page when it's not upside down, she talks about the spirit orchestrates everyone's destiny. So usually when the map shifter shows up, it's like somebody is showing up in your world to be the embodiment of spirit in a way that's going to map shift around the whole deal. Reversed. The magical map shifter card may bring you the opposite of what you seek. Perhaps you're in denial about your situation and refuse to see the truth. Or maybe... oh, my life. Or maybe you've been traveling down a path that has constantly led you to a field of poppies where you fall asleep and dream of desires that never find their form. To have the life you really want, you must match its vibrational energy and resonate with it. Sometimes our greatest hurts and disappointments are what awaken us to our need to shift to a higher frequency. If your heart aches because someone is breaking it, this discomfort will lead you to a more authentic life. Did you hear that? If your heart aches because someone is breaking it, this discomfort will lead you to a more authentic life. Don't linger in the pain or blame the magical map shifter for alerting you to the illusion you clung to. Know that treasure lies elsewhere and can be recovered once you've healed the wound, that is reflected in those who come to you as catalysts for growth. As you experience yourself transforming into the highest version of yourself, you'll come to understand that you're always fortunate when you meet up with a magical map shifter. Even if it's one that is upside down and showing you that the thing you thought you wanted maybe isn't what you actually desire, and or maybe isn't what is in your highest good. Just to retouch on some of these points, reverse the magical map shifter card may bring you the opposite of what you seek. Perhaps you're in denial about your situation or refuse to see the truth. Or maybe you've been traveling down a path that has constantly led you to a field of poppies where you fall asleep and dream of desires that never find their form. To have the life you really want, you must match its vibrational energy and resonate with it. Sometimes our greatest hurts and disappointments are what awaken us to our need to shift to a higher frequency. Oh my. In a way, you guys, I feel like the first 35 years of my life were one constant upside down magical map shifter after the other. This is the path of the wounded healer and the mystic, is one has to sort of be pretty injured in this 3D earthly reality anyway, to crack open to the truth of the light and the resonance of the divine. So you have to get your ass kicked a bunch to realize what's actually not for you and what's not really going to work in the reality you actually feel good in. So that's our present moment. That's where we're sitting right now. And then let's look at the Moonlight card. Your intuition allows you to see beyond the mundane, logical, and analytical. Follow it. Moonlight beckons. Come and trust your intuition to lead you into places that may not seem logical. Your hunches will be right on target. Resist second-guessing yourself, for your alternative perception is especially sharp right now. You can see beyond the surface of things and truly read between the lines. This is a good time to use oracle cards, like you're doing right now, or other systems of divination to gain information. Remember that the language of intuition is a symbolic one. It comes subtly through a hunch, a tingling, a clear sound, or an animal or object crossing your path. Spirit is sending you messages to help you now. Success is yours if you follow the signs. The language of intuition is a symbolic one. It comes subtly through a hunch, a tingling, a sound, or an animal or object crossing your path. Spirit is sending you messages to help you now. Success is yours if you follow the signs. So, you've been in a slow down deep freeze, probably with a lot of internal stuff going on. You're currently in the middle of like, fuck. Son of a magical upside down. This isn't what I wanted. This isn't working. This isn't And the way through is to listen for the subtle internal and external spiritual signs through the oracle cards, through the spiritual realm. My personal sort of what they're giving me here is like, if you have a spiritual practice and or a way that you tap into what you call source, divine, the love, the universe, the vibe, whatever the tree of wisdom, now is a good time to sit with that, sit deeply with it, and ask it to pull from you all the illusions and delusions that are keeping you foggy and uncertain, and that are keeping you maybe spinning in a web of denial. Because we want the gifts that come from clarity and living in reality. Have you ever noticed how the longer you live in fantasy and denial, the harder it is to have peace and centeredness and clarity moving forward? It can feel, there's a saying in the 12-step systems, they talk about you can have short-term relief, but oftentimes with short-term relief comes long-term misery. So the short-term relief of being in denial and in fantasy about your little fantasy denial thing you got going on is going to create long-term misery. But the reverse or the converse is true as well. If you live in short-term misery and face the pain of the reality you're sitting in, the reality that the universe is trying to show you, you will have long-term relief. Short-term pain, ow, it hurts to face the truth, leads to long-term relief. Okay, I'm living my authentic self. I faced that. I made new decisions. I got clarity. I moved forward in a different way. Now I'm being me, and I feel clean in my alignment. I don't have lies or hooks or things I'm having to bury or secrets I'm not telling people. It's all just clean and lined up. Doesn't that sound better anyway? Thank you all so much for being here. Please do check out katierubin.com/the side angle one, *this one, beings, to learn about my November 6th to the 8th energetic healing retreat in Mancos, Colorado. Check out katierubin.com to book your energetic healing session or personal reading. And listen to All the Answers podcast, where my very hilarious co-host Cassidy Jamal Brown and I chit-chat, wax philosophical, be funny, and then we have a guest on and we open their Akashic records and do some deep work with the person on air that is usually very insight-provoking and very fun and wacky and surprising. Just like the energy of this guy. Pew! I love you all. Thank you so much. Have a great week. We'll see you next week.